Welcome back to my trading transformation. Today is day 23. As always, I'm always live for every trading session. Every trading session I have, I'm live. Go check it out. You can literally watch. You can watch back everything I take, and every trade that I take. So, we're gonna go over the trade that I took today. I took one trade today, and I do think it was a good trade. It was a trade I had conviction with. Just the execution on it was not good. I took a loss today again. Another loss. You're probably like, oh, this guy never wins. I'm keeping it how it is. I'm not gonna come on here. I'm not gonna say I won when I really didn't. I'm not gonna push away a loss that I took that I didn't. That I actually took. I'm not gonna come on here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say that I took a loss, or I'm not gonna say that I took a win that I didn't take, or I'm not gonna say that I didn't have a loss, because this is simply my journey. I don't get anything. I don't gain anything from coming on here and lie, try to look better, try to deceive you guys. That's just not who I am. I'm keeping it straight up. This is my journey, and this is how it is. So we're gonna go ahead and go right into it. These are pretty much just gonna be my trade recaps, and as always, my trading, the chart reviews are. I'm gonna go over literally everything that we saw in the day, everything that I could have done better at. These are kind of just gonna be chart review, trading. Like my overall performance and how I did with the trades that I took, and kind of just reflections and journals. So, at open, I actually had a bullish bias. It looked very good. I don't have it marked out here, but we had a huge wick on the hourly candle, and we held consequent encroachment very nice. So going in the morning, I was bullish. We were holding consequent encroachment. I thought this was going to be buy side of the curve. We have sell side of the curve delivering to this 4-hour imbalance. So going today, I was bullish. We were holding consequent encroachment, and then we were respecting bullish order flow. We had this 1-hour imbalance that I wanted us to break out of. We ended up breaking out on ES. We broke out of this on ES. We didn't quite so on NQ. And I was really looking for manipulation at one of these lows in the morning. As we can see here, we kind of take this low, and I'm expecting to be bullish. I want to see bullish reaction. We obviously just sell off. And here, this is good on my part. I was pretty bullish today. And this was also within a 15-minute bounce, which I'll go over more in the chart review. But we were kind of just bouncing here. I was expecting us to head lower. I was expecting us to head higher here. I was expecting us to bounce. But that wasn't the case. We ended up just selling off. We sell off to where? This low. And this kind of surprised me that we sold all the way down to this low. I was expecting to be very bullish today. And like the thing is, the market does whatever it wants to do. The moment that I try to force something that's not what the market wants to do, that's just when I'm gonna get caught up. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna make irrational decisions because I want the market to go higher, but the market doesn't want to go higher. The market shows me what it wants to do, and then I take something based off of that. I take a trade off of what the market does, not what my P&L does, not what I want the market to do, not what I want my P&L to do, because that's just bad habits. That's what I did the other day. I took a trade based off what I wanted my P&L to do, and today I kind of struggled with that same thing. And I'm not gonna hide it. I'm not gonna say that I didn't take a trade that I didn't take, because obviously, like, I'm held accountable to everything I do now. I have a Discord, and I also have. It's free, by the way. I'm not selling out, bro. I'm not doing that shit. That is so that I don't like that. I don't agree with that. But like, my Discord is completely free. It's in the description if you want to join it. I'm active in there every day, and then I show you guys all that I take. I show you guys my thoughts. So basically, on ES, it's important to, or on NQ, sorry, it's important to notice that we take sell side here. So once we take sell side, I know the objective is taken. We have taken the sell side, so I'm expecting price to kind of chop here. I'm not looking for anything. The only thing that's acceptable to take is an internal model after sell side is taken. Sell side is taken. I know that we have this huge sell off, and why do the markets move? To hunt liquidity, rebalance to equilibrium, and rebalance to an imbalance. If I pull out this whole price range, where's equilibrium lie? Right within this 15-minute imbalance. And that was kind of like my theory with the trade, is like after we took a low, and the important thing to note is standard deviation right here. We have a standard deviation. Standard deviation is the last price leg up before that big move. So it's the last leg up here, and as you can see, -2 to 2.5, we end up respecting. Anytime that we respect -2 to 2.5, I'm anticipating a rebalance into equilibrium. Anytime -2 to -2.5 gets held, I'm expecting a rebalance into equilibrium. And as you can see, we're respecting equilibrium here. We're respecting equilibrium here. And as you can see, we kind of come down. And none of this is anything to trade. We just took sell side here. And we also, another added conviction on this trade is that we were rebalancing price to this 1 hour imbalance, and we were expecting this 1 hour imbalance as well. On top of that, we have SMT at the lows. ES does not come out and take this low. ES really did not sell off at all. ES really did not sell, but NQ did. So we had SMT at the low on the higher time frame, and I was expecting us to possibly bounce to rebalance. But I have to see something that would kind of validate that. As you can see, we're building structure here. We're building structure here. Right here, nothing to take. Nothing to take. Then we're within this range, and here is when we create equal lows. I want to see classic AMD. Classic AMD right here. Accumulation. Manipulation. And then distribution. As you can see, it wasn't as clean as I thought it was going to be, but still ended up playing out. So I'm looking for these equal lows. I really want these equal lows to get souped because we now have an SMT at the lows. We also have equal lows that I think we're going to target. I think that we're just building liquidity in this range to then target higher. Notice we have the standard deviation. Once standard deviation gets met, I'm expecting us to rebalance price to equilibrium of this whole price leg. And that's really what I'm looking for. We're within that 1 hour imbalance. We also have another reason to balance because of that. And I'm really playing in rebalance. But notice how in this trade, I'm not trying to target the 50-minute fair value gap. I'm targeting the low-hanging fruit, which is this high. I'm just targeting this high, taking the internal model. The internal model, I'm not trying to go up to the 15-minute time frame, and I'm not trying to catch a move all the way back to reverse here. I'm just taking a trade to rebalance price. Because why does market move? To hunt liquidity, to rebalance to equilibrium, and also to rebalance to imbalance. So I think that we're going to rebalance to equilibrium of this price leg, and we're also going to rebalance to an imbalance. I don't need to catch equilibrium. I don't need to catch this imbalance. All I need is a piece of the pie. That's all I'm looking to take. And as you can see, we have hunted liquidity. Now, what are we likely to do? Rebalance to equilibrium or rebalance to an imbalance. Why? Because standard deviation is being met. Okay, so now now what I'm looking for. I really want to see these lows get swept. I want to see these lows get swept. And here is kind of when I go wrong. This is when I go wrong. I wasn't really paying attention to NQ at the time. I should have been paying more attention to what NQ is doing. So as you can see, like, NQ wants to push lower, and NQ also is like doing nothing. Or ES, sorry. I think I just said NQ the whole time. But ES is really doing nothing. NQ is kind of pushing up here. We're kind of stuck within this range. And then here. This is when I kind of stop looking at on ES. I'm getting so dialed in on the possibility of us having a turtle soup. I want to see traders getting stopped here. Notice all this liquidity we are generating. And I just want to see a soup here. I want to see us take this low and then immediately pump to buy side. Because that's what a turtle soup is. We're taking a form of internal liquidity to target external liquidity. Or we are deliberately pushing price below to stop traders before then reversing. So I am looking to take this turtle soup. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to get the best risk, and I'm going to get the best fill here. Okay, this is where I go wrong. I immediately am looking at this, and then we take this low. We have this little move higher. We have this candle move higher. And then I immediately enter here. I got a bad fill on this. I'm not gonna lie, I got a bad fill. And what I do like about this trade though is that first I had my stop down here. I had my stop all the way down here. I was giving it a little bit room to breathe. I was giving my stop a little bit room to breathe, which I did like is what I did. I gave my stop room. And immediately we start kind of pushing. We start kind of pushing lower. I get a little bit scared. I get a little bit like, hey man, was this actually the soup? Was this actually a soup? But what I did not realize is that ES still wanted to come down, and ES still wanted to take this low. ES still wanted to take this low. ES comes down, take this low, and then we form an SMT here. Once you see an SMT, this should have been my entry. This should have been my entry. Once we get the SMT, I would have got a much better fill, and I would have been more accepting to this trade. So I get filled here. My stop is originally, I give it a little bit of room. So it's about like a 2.5 risk reward. That's good. 2.5 risk reward is good. If I keep that up over time, I will likely become profitable. Here is when I go wrong. After we have that soup, we have the SMT. I am getting a little bit too emotional here. I'm getting too attached to my P&L because this is on the live account. This is my little struggle I have. So I'm like seeing this displacement move higher, and I'm getting really stingy here. I'm getting very stingy here. I don't want price to come lower at all. I don't want price to go back. I want a turtle soup is when price just pumps to buy side. That's when you're going to get your most efficient entries. So I really want to see a pump to buy side. As you can see, like I was in profit for a minute. I was in profit. And then as soon as we start to reverse, I get a little bit I start to self-doubt. I start to doubt this entry. I don't have confidence in this. I don't have conviction with this. And I was literally saying in the live stream as well, is that the manipulation leg, if it is a turtle soup, we don't need to come back to it. That's what I was saying. Like, if it's a turtle soup, oh, I already have that marked out. I'm tripping. If it's a turtle soup, we don't need to come back to it. And I marked out standard deviation, and that marks up right with buy side. So I should have confidence that this is the manipulation lane. We have an SMT here. I should be confident within this entry. I start second downing because maybe I didn't get the best fill. I'm still in I'm in drawdown now when we come down here. So what do? I decide I'm going to move my stop. I get a little too carried away. This is just me trading based off my P&L. This is not me trading off what the market what the market gives me. This was a mistake that I made Monday as well. I traded based off my P&L, not what the market was doing. Another trade where I should have won, but I'm trading based off my P&L on the live account and not what the market is giving me. Had I had my stop here and just been like, hey, if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. Had I just had my stop down here, once we come back down here, and what are we doing here again? We create another SMT. This is another SMT. I also didn't realize that at the time. Another SMT here. And now we have one SMT, we have another SMT, and then we have another SMT. This is really when price starts to run. So I move my stop up here at this low here. I get stopped out for a smaller loss. And then price just ends up pretty much running. Once I see me get stopped out, and then I see this candle go like this, and I see the next candle go like that, I immediately know that I got stop undid. Because I was greedy. Granted, the trade is still valid. Like, this is still an okay trade if I have my stop at this low. But I moved up my stop because I got greedy, because I was focusing on my P&L, because I was like, dude, I really don't want to lose $30 here. I don't want to lose $30 on this trade. I want to lose the minimum. Like, I want price to run straight to my target. That's not what's always going to happen. A price isn't always going to run straight to your target. That's why you have a stop loss. I simply did not accept the risk I put on the table. I did not accept the risk that I had on the table. I wanted as minimal risk as I could. I wanted a straight fairy tale, little straight run to my TP. And that's not always going to happen, and that's where I really went wrong today. I got too caught up in I let my emotions affect me. Like, this is a good trade. We have reasons for price to go higher. We have reasons for price to rebalance. And this is a good trade. So I think I did good today because I was able to recognize this model. This would have been a good trade. What I could do better in the future is recognize the SMT and recognize ES. Recognizing that maybe ES wants to come down all the way and take this low. I should have been looking at ES and not get caught up in here and notice that we could possibly form another SMT here. Had I noticed that and got a fill here, I would have been very glad. I would have been very fine with this trade, and then maybe having my stop here originally, and then moving it, and then potentially moving it to this low, and then sticking to my stop. That's what I want to get better at, is stop placement, because my analysis on this trade was good. My analysis on this trade was great. But I need to get better at my stop losses. I don't need to be moving my stop loss no matter what. I should not be. I'm not at a point to where I should be moving my stop loss at all. So I will no longer be moving my stop loss. I'm going to put it at a protected high that would invalidate the trade. I'm going to put it at an area which will invalidate the trade. Notice if we run this low, then this entry just might not be, it's not, again, the manipulation lower, which is what a turtle soup is, the manipulation leg lower will will likely never get ran, or should never get ran, if it is the manipulation leg. If this is the turtle soup, if this is the manipulation leg lower, we should not break below this low. So therefore, I can put my stop here, and I should have just had my stop here, and then I should have just been like TP or stop loss gets hit. But I was overthinking, I was overanalyzing, I was like, oh, my P&L, my P&L, my P&L. Yes, it could have been. I should have originally had my stop here, and then once we get displacement, move it to that low. But from now on, I'm not going to move my stop. Either my TP gets hit or my stop loss gets hit no matter what. I'm not going to fluctuate my stop. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to overanalyze it. I'm not going to try to overprotect myself. Because things like this that happen to when I was overthinking, I was overanalyzing, I was overdoing it. And then TP ends up getting hit. And I want to note that after this happened, I was like, hey, bro, yeah. I got stop hunted. And normally this kind of could be where I could look to re-enter and I could look to take another trade. But at the time, I'm just like, bro, I shouldn't even be looking to trade this model anymore. Like, ideally in the future, if I did get like stop hunted by this, which I shouldn't even have my stop all the way up here. But ideally, in the future, I will be willing to give a trade like this another entry if I get stopped out. But I was just way too emotional, and I don't think I was even ready to take another entry. But there was an entry offered here within this fair value gap, and then there was a soup here. Either one of those looked fine in my opinion, but I'm gonna go over those later in the chart review. But basically, I kind of messed up again, and definitely something that I'm gonna do, and what someone suggested in my live, is to start going over my rules before the session starts, and I'm definitely going to be doing that. I'm going to add another rule. Don't move stop loss. I'm going to remove this because the AM objective was taken, but I was trading the internal model, which is okay. So I'm going to remove this. Then I'm also going to add another one. This is a big one. Trade based off the market, not your P&L. I was trading off my P&L today. I was trading based on what I thought my P&L would do. I was trying to get the tiniest risk, and I just need to accept the risk. Okay, I'm putting risk on the table. Every trade, I'm putting risk onto the table. Yeah, I am. And either my TP gets hit or my stop loss gets hit. Nothing in between, bro. Like, I am ideally risking like $30 a trade. I lost $16 on this trade. Like, is that something that I really can't handle? I can't handle, like, if my stop were to be down here, it would have been risking $30. I would have been risking $30. And I'm getting emotional over trying to lose $30. Bro, the market isn't always just going to rush to my TP. Ideally, the best trades are. But I guess you could say I was overthinking because I was pretty confident in this trade. I was overthinking. I was overanalyzing. This was everything I wanted to see. I just was bad execution on my part. And the thing is like, I'm not discouraged by this trade because the analysis was there. The analysis was fired during this trade. Like, this is a valid trade. Had I just waited for this SMC to form and enter here, that would have been the best entry. And I was just kind of rushing a trade here. And going into the future, I just definitely need to be looking at ES a lot more. Looking at ES and focusing on what ES is doing a lot more, no doubt about it. And, okay. My bias going today, I was pretty bullish. Was it correct? No, we ended up having a huge sell-off, and then I took a long to rebalance price. Trades I took one loss. I took one loss today, and really shouldn't have been a loss that I should have taken. And there's going to be good losses, and then there's going to be bad losses. Today was a bad loss. Yesterday was a bad loss. Like, I've had 2 days in a row when, like, it's just something that I can't be discouraged by. Like, it's just something to learn from. Like, all these trades is just something to learn from. This wasn't a bad trade. I actually do like this trade. Granted, I don't think that, like, you can say what you want, but taking a trade based off the internal model is fine. Like, I know AM objective has been taken. I knew that going in. I am taking a trade to rebalance price into this internal model. And so I really want to talk about, I was talking about this on the live today. I want to talk about this as well. But okay. Here's what I don't like is when I have habits and I make decisions that, regardless of the outcome, do not provide a positive impact. What I mean by that is, so say I'm in this trade. I originally had my stop here. And then I go ahead and I move my stop to here. Okay. I go ahead and I move my stop up here. My stop would have been like maybe at this low, or we'll say that my stop would have been here. Okay. So say I move my stop up all the way up here. And then market does something like this to where we push down. And then we end up pushing through this low, and we end up stopping, or we end up coming down all the way down here. Does that make sense? Or we come all the way down here. And so if I did have my stop loss here, I would have got stopped. So from me moving my stop loss up here, I now think that I made the right decision. I now think that that was a good decision, bro. That was a good decision to do that. So I would have had my stop here, but then I decided to move it up. And then hypothetically, I would have got stopped out. So now I think I did the right decision. I pat myself on the back because I think I did the right decision. Hey, this was a good trade. We would have lost this much here. We would have lost this much here, but we only lost this much. That was a good trade. That was a good trade. We would have lost much more money if I had my stop down here, but I moved it up. That was a great decision, bro. That is not a positive thing. That is not a positive thing. That is not a good decision. That's not something that I should applaud myself for. So me trying to do this here is me just not having confidence within this trade. Whereas, okay, say I have my stop loss here originally. And then say I move it up like I did, and then I end up getting stop hunted, and then price reverses. I missed out on this move because I was delusional. So no matter what I do, it's just a negative impact. It does not make me a better trader. It does not. The fact that I did this, the fact that I moved my stop, does not make a positive impact no matter what. It does not positive impact me in any way. So why should I be doing it? I should be putting my stop at this low. Why? Because it's the manipulation leg lower. If this is the manipulation leg, we should not invalidate this low. This is a protected low. So, going in the future, I'm going to be putting my stop loss at prominent highs. And I'm going to put it at places that would invalidate the trade. That's what I want to do. That's going to be my main rule. And place okay. So again, price ends up running. I got stopped out here. And then after I see this, it's like I'm like, it is what it is. But I was really a little bit mad at myself, and there's something to learn from. Like, now I'm creating a rule out of this. I'm making a mistake now. And although, like, I shouldn't have made the mistake, we can say that I shouldn't have made the mistake, bro. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to fail. I'm going to fall on my face. It's part of the journey. It's part of the process. And the more that I don't learn from these mistakes, and the more that I push them away, and the more that I don't accept them, and the more that I come to face them by doing these, or the more that I will grow and I will develop. 100%. Focus on decision making and how this compares to this Wait. Sorry. Don't move the stop loss and place the stop loss at areas that would invalidate the model. What would invalidate this trade is if we break through this low. Okay, maybe we don't want to run. But we didn't. We still validated it. We created another SMT, and then we ended up running. Like this wasn't a bad model. This was sell side of the curve. This was buy side of the curve. My bias was correct. What I was trying to do was technically correct. And I don't care to be correct. I care to make the right decisions. I care to build the right habits. And today, I did not build good habits at all. I came in the market and I was trying to make money. I was simply trying to make money on my live account. That's what I was doing. I need to shift that, bro. I need to be creating good habits and more execution wise. I need to get better at execution. This week, my errors have been all execution based. They've all been based off of execution. I didn't really have many technical errors. Two of my trades this week, I've been stopped out just based off my stop placement. Technical errors. Okay. Okay. I want to go over the mistakes that I made today. I want to write down the mistakes that I made. Traded based off my P&L. Not accepting the risk, and then another mistake I made, I got too emotional. All right, what to work on? Market maker X model, and then dial in and focus on habits that I am forming. Anything else? No, I think that's good. Okay. All right, I like that. What? I'll kind of go over that a little in my video, but basically, I will be live again for the chart review. Chart review is kind of going to go over the whole trading day. This is kind of just like the mental mistakes I made, the technical mistakes that I might have made, and then the chart review is really going to swing over like what the chart did. I also will touch on like what trade I took, and I don't know, I might merge them, but I do like my trading transformation because it's kind of personal. It's like trade recaps, and then chart reviews are a little more kind of like what price action did, what did we do, where did we go, why did we do it, you know? Okay. Yeah, that's all I have for this. Is there anything else I could touch base on? Get better at not being too zoomed in. I will say I have been doing a little bit better at that. I've been focusing on what the external model would likely do, what the higher time frames are going to do, and then I zoom down and find that exact manipulation. Like today was not a bad trade. I'm not upset about the trade that I took today. I'm upset with the way I executed today, with the way that I handled that trade, with the way I handled my position, because like you can have the best technical analysis in the world. You can have the best trade ideas. You can have the best bias. You can have the correct bias. You can have whatever it may be, but if you're not executing that trade correctly, if you're over risking, if you're over leveraging, if you're not position yourself accordingly, you could lose. Like I did, I didn't position myself accordingly, so I lost. And I do like how I'm risking one micro, so I am in a position to where. Like, I am putting myself in a position to where I'm able to make mistakes like this because that's a good thing. Like, I'm risking one micro. I lost $16 today. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. $16. But I was trading based on my P&L. I took one bad trade. I made errors. It's not about the P&L. It's about my errors. Look for the manipulation move. Okay. Where do traders have their stops? Where I move my stop. Okay. Yeah, that's really all I have for my trading transformation today. Again, I'll be live within like 30 minutes for the chart review. I hope to see y'all there, and I hope y'all have a good one. I hope y'all have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for my